Welcome back. Today we are looking at learning about how to graph points and lines on a coordinate plane. So just as a review, in case you don't remember, the coordinate plane is formed by two number lines. And those number lines are the x-axis and the y-axis. They intersect at right angles and divide the plane into 4 quadrants. Because if you see that word quad, it means 4. The x-coordinate is always the first number in an ordered pair, and the y-coordinate is always the second number in an ordered pair. Now whenever we're graphing, we want to always plot the ordered pair by beginning at the origin, and that's the point that's 0, 0, which is at the intersection of the x and y axis. The x-coordinate would tell us how many units to move left or right, and the y-coordinate tells us how many units to move up or down. Now let's look at an example. So here we have the ordered pair 2, 3. It's a positive 2, so it's telling us to move to the right 2 units, because if you think of this as a number line, and the origin is right here in the middle, anything to the right of 0, 0 would be positive, anything to the left would be negative. Here we have a positive 3, so we're going to move up 3 units, because if you think of the y-axis like a thermometer, above 0 would be positive values, below 0 would be negative. I also want you to notice on this graph, we have each of our quadrants labeled. So once again, there's 4 quadrants, but I also want you to notice that they are labeled with Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, 4, so they go in a counterclockwise direction starting in the upper right hand. So when we graph 2, 3, we're going to start at the origin. I'm going to go to the right 2 and up 3, and that is where I'm going to draw my point to represent that ordered pair. So here we have some points that are graphed, and we want to give the coordinates and the quadrant for each point. So let's start with point R, which is right here. So remember, we're going to move left or right first, so it's positive 1. So I'm going to go ahead, always use my parentheses because that's what indicates an ordered pair. It's a positive 1, and then from there we're up 1, 2, 3. So the ordered pair would be 1, 3, and this is in quadrant number 1. Now let's try letter S. Now since letter S is on the y-axis, it actually hasn't moved left or right, so its x value is 0, but from the origin it is down 3, so its y value is negative 3. So if we count it down 1, 2, 3. Now this one, because it's on one of the axes, it is in none. It is not in a quadrant at all. Now I want you to pause the video and try to do point T and point U on your own. Alright, if we look at T, since it's on the left side of the y-axis, we have a negative value, and it's back 2, so it's going to be negative 2, but then it's up from the x-axis, 2, so its ordered pair is negative 2, positive 2, and it is in quadrant number 2. Point U is 3 to the left of the y-axis, but then it doesn't go up or down, so it's negative 3, 0. And once again, its quadrant is none. Now we have an example where we are given the ordered pairs, and we need to graph those. So I'm going to start with letter A. So letter A is the ordered pair 3, 4. So remember, I'm always going to start at the origin first. I have a positive 3, so I'm going to go to the right 3, and then up 4, and then that is where I'm going to graph my point. And here I'm going to label it point A, since we have our points labeled. Now B is 4, 0, so I'm going to go to the right 4, but I'm not going to go up or down, so this is point B. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try point C and D on your own, and then check to see how you do. Alright, letter C is negative 4, 4, so I'm going to go back 4, but then up 4. So here's point C, and then letter D is negative 1, negative 3, which is going to be down in quadrant number 3. Now when we're actually looking at ordered pairs, sometimes we plot just points, but a lot of times the ordered pairs, as we learned in the last lesson, might represent solutions to an equation. Well, most of the time there is not just one answer when there's two different variables that we're looking at. There's multiple ones depending on what we pick for our x value. In this case, we then graph the solution of an equation or graph of an equation because that becomes the set of all ordered pairs that are solutions of the equation. So this is an example of what I mean. So we want to complete the table for y equals 2x minus 3 and then graph the ordered pair on a coordinate plane and draw a line through them. In reality, there's no limit as to what value we can put in for x. However, we can't possibly graph every single point that could go in there. So we use the line to represent that. So here we've picked 4 values, 0, 1, 2, 3. We're just going to find our y value for these selected x values. So 2 times 0 minus 3 is 0 minus 3, or negative 3. So our ordered pair is 0, negative 3. And then we have 2 times 1 minus 3, which is 2 minus 3, or negative 1. Then we have 2 times 2, which is 4, minus 3 is 1. And then we have 2 times 3, which is 6, minus 3 is 3. Now that I have those ordered pairs, I'm going to graph them. So 0, negative 3, 1, negative 1, 2, 1, and then 3, 3. And if you notice, all of these points now form a line. So I can actually take a line and draw it right through all of them. And then what I'm actually going to do as well is put an arrow tip at the end to show that my line goes on forever, so that there are infinitely many solutions to this equation. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. Here we're going to complete the table for y equals 3x minus 4 and then graph. Once again, we've selected 0, 1, 2, and 3. We wouldn't have to always pick these values, but I find that they're the easiest to work with. Sometimes I like to pick a negative value. Just depends on the equation. So 3 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 is negative 4. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 4 is negative 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 4 is 2. And 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 4 is 5. Hopefully those are the ordered pairs that you found. I'm going to go ahead and graph. So we have 0, negative 4, 1, negative 1, 2, 2, and 3, 5. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. Notice all those points line up nice and straight. And then lastly, I'm just going to put those arrow tips at the ends to show that the lines go on. If you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and get started on your homework. Otherwise, come see me and we can go through a couple more examples.